So now that Julian Assange is freed, every asshole who slandered him and smeared him are trying to memory hold their smears and slanders, like Cenk Uygur from the world's largest online news show, which it's not. Those are all fake. Most of those are fake subscribers that they paid for. I'll guarantee you. So because he gets, what does he get? 5,000 people watching his live stream. We get 25,000.
All I know is saying his name feels racist.
Yes. So he says, I hate that Julian Assange had to plead guilty to a crime he definitely didn't do. His real crime was journalism.
What?
And there's nothing you'll be punished more for in America. Don't break this. That's why he'll never be punished. He'll never be punished. Don't break the illusion, but I'm thrilled he'll be a free man, finally. Well, you want to see what he actually thinks of Julian Assange? This is what he's trying to... This is when he was repeating CIA and FBI smear pieces about and talking points about Julian Assange, repeating them instead of debunking them. I debunked it in the same studio before he did this, and then Cenk comes on this studio and listen to what he says about Julian Assange.
Well, obviously it's hard to tell who's telling the truth here. But lately, I have to confess that WikiLeaks has not had an astounding record.
First of all, WikiLeaks has an astounding record.
Yeah, they never had taken those letters down from Hillary's email if they would.
But when you say I have to confess, what do you mean you're not confessing? You're making an accusation that's a smear. That you're not I have to confess. Do you see the...
Confessing was when you said you'd legalize bestiality.
Yeah, that's confessing. Confessing is when you said you would legalize having sex with a horse.
I mean, if you give him pleasure, the horse, I have to confess, I don't see a problem.
There we go.
The way that Assange seems to be backing Donald Trump over and over and over again, it makes me very seriously question Assange's efforts to actually be a journalist and not to be a partisan. And I get it.
Exposing Hillary is backing Trump.
By exposing,
and now Cenk not supporting Israel is backing the Nazis, right? Cenk, you don't like that.
So he's saying, he just said that he got in trouble for doing journalism, and here he is saying that he's not doing journalism.
It wasn't astounding journalism.
Get why he hates the Democrats. They're trying to put him in prison. Okay,
right, but
at the same time,
toe the line for them still.
So he gets here's Airhead Anna actually makes a point here, because Cenk says that I get why he hates the Democrats, because the Democrats are trying to put him in prison, and Anna says,
let's be clear about that.
And now the
Republicans are too. Trump was the one who got him put in that Belmarsh prison. So as Trump is imprisoning Julian Assange, dickhead Cenk, tool of the establishment, who took $20 million from Hillary Clinton donors, is now saying that Julian Assange is working for Trump, the guy who just put him in prison. That's what he's saying.
Who was that fat CIA fuck that wanted to kill?
And even this airhead has to correct him.
I think she's voting for Trump now, right? She left the left. She stopped being a Democrat.
And it gets worse. Listen to this.
Are too, and they have been in the past. But it seems like Assange has picked a side. And look, it makes me question his reporting. And so that's the situation we're in now. So now is he just leaking things that he gets, and no matter what, in which case I would respect that? Or is he selectively leaking based on his political motives? Now that suspicion is out there and it's real and it's possible, well, now I'm concerned that it can't be trusted.
Wow.
So now he says Julian Assange can't be trusted, but now that everybody knows, even Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow admit that he's a journalist and that he should. What? He's like, I hate that he had to plead guilty to something he didn't do. His real crime was journalism. You just said he wasn't doing journalism.
Did your nephew call you a fascist for this?
Yeah. Don't break the illusion, but thrilled that he'll be a free man, finally.
What does "don't break the illusion" mean?
What?
What illusion? Everybody knows what you are.
You're happy that he'll be... You said
idiot.
You said he couldn't be trusted. You said he wasn't... You said he was working for Trump.
Well, he said he could beat up Joe Rogan, too.
Journalism is one crime Cenk Uygur will never be accused of.
I mean, we said it already, but say it a lot because it's crazy. He just said that.
Remember when they were spreading the smears about Julian Assange being that Ecuador wanted him out because he wouldn't
scoop his cat box.
Well, watch them repeat this. Watch how this woman. This, again, another tool of the establishment on purpose who lies to her own people, pretending that she's fine. Here she is going to smear the best journalist of our generation who was in prison.
Boy.
In an Ecuadorian embassy, couldn't leave a tiny little room for 6 years, and she laughs about it.
What happened?
She laughs about it. Let's watch. You want to watch how she laughs about it?
So we accidentally learned that Julian Assange has been indicted.
So not only that, we might have actually just complicated a very, very fractious diplomacy that's going on right now, because there is a lot of behind-the-scenes negotiations going on between the U.S., the UK, and Ecuador. Ecuador is completely sick of Julian Assange. They want them to get the heck out of there.
They want him out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where...
He's been there for 6 years.
Not only that,
got off the line with Ecuador.
Did you hear her?
Yeah.
Did you hear her giggle like a fucking idiot?
Yeah.
That the #1 journalist who's being prosecuted, who has to hold up in an embassy or else go to Belmarsh because he revealed war crimes. He actually did journalism, something she'll never do. Look at how she's giggling. Oh, he's been in there for 6 years. I'm going to play it again. Try not to talk.
I want him out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where...
He's been there for 6 years.
Not only is that, but Julian refused...
Good one.
What the fuck? The fact that anybody still watches this show, shame on you. Shame on you for watching tools like this. Shame on you. Can you... honest, that's almost worse than what Cenk did. Laughing that a guy is imprisoned in an embassy because he actually did journalism, and now you're just going to slander and smear him and giggle that he's imprisoned. I'll play it again.
Sick of Julian Assange. They want them to get the heck out of there.
They want him out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where...
He's been there for 6 years.
Not only is that, but Julian refuses to clean up his cat's litter box. He is like in court filings, they're having major lawsuits against each other because Julian refuses to clean his room. He's a grown man. He's like in his 40s, and the man will not clean his room and clean up after his cat. He also refuses to shower.
Between that and those Swedish rapes, I'm saying this is real.
That's a 40 millionaire worth $40 million, as she says this, giggling over a journalist being prosecuted and forced to live in a prison. She's giggling over it because he did journalism, because he did us all a favor and told the truth and exposed the lies and the war crimes of the war machine and the imperialists. And and they repeat like fucking mindless idiots that they are. They repeat a slander smear from the FBI and the CIA about him.
In the know, people say it.
He won't. What? It gets worse.
He's just disgusting. Like, so.
Is it as disgusting? It's disgusting.
Yeah,
is it as disgusting as Iraq? What in the hell?
What's disgusting is that people watch this show for news.
Do you think it's true?
That's what's disgusting.
I'm sure they didn't make it up like that Swedish rape case that was fake.
What's disgusting is that people will still treat these people like they're not the pieces of shit that they are.
Well, you say that, Jimmy, but this is the moment Kyle Kalinske fell in love.
That is when Kyle Kalinske fell in love.
He heard that beautiful laugh of hers.
Everybody should...
So we accidentally learned that Julian Assange has been indicted.
So not only that, we might have actually just complicated a very, very fractious diplomacy that's going on right now, because there is a lot of behind-the-scenes negotiations going on between the U.S., the UK, and Ecuador. Ecuador is completely sick of Julian Assange. They want them to get the heck out of there.
They want him out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where...
He's been there for 6 years.
Not only is that, but Julian refuses to clean up his cat's litter box. He is like... like in court filings, they're having major lawsuits against each other because Julian refuses to clean his room. He's a grown man. He's like in his 40s, and the man will not clean his room and clean up after his cat. He also refuses to shower more than once a week.
What?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
So he's a man in his 40s. You know, now he's in his 50s because he spent the last 12, 14 years on the run because he did journalism. Is that also funny? That his entire 40s he spent in a prison? He spent 6 years in Belmarsh? Is that also funny? I bet it is. I bet that's what they read articles about Julian Assange's cat box and giggle. He's been in there for 6 years.
It's not as funny as Hillary's emails, but it is pretty funny.
What in the fuck is possibly funny about that?
Well, these are two rich kids. You get that, right? These are two jerk-off. Washington, D.C. breeds... Hipsters were a thing in New York. When I played D.C., they were like House of Cards larvae. That's what I would call them. And that's what they're like, little giggling, like how Chris Hedges said, it's like court gossip. That's what they sound like. They should have powdered wigs. Well, I hear he won't clean his cat box. That's what they're doing. That's well-to-do rich kids, probably from Georgetown. I don't know. I'm going to hazard a guess. And that's because everything's game theory to these dipshits. And so they don't think about the actual damage to real people by the policies of the jerk-offs they're around, right? That they would give the benefit of the doubt to, for some reason, I guess because they live there. They don't think about like how it would fuck up real people at all. So that's what it is. I mean, they're young there, right? Who's Crystal and Buck? Is Sagar filling in for Buck? Who the hell was that? Rising with Crystal and Buck, it says. How long ago was this?
Where does it say that?
Rising with Crystal and Buck. So that's like
that was her first host that she had with her, and then she brought in Sagar. Look right under Rising, Mr. Dore.
I see it.
Buck. Yeah, who the hell is Buck?
Who the hell is Buck?
That was one of the first hosts that was on the show with her.
So he's been there for 6 years. I'm a horrible person, but I fooled a lot of people.
Well, you know, she got run out of an election for being cool, as far as I'm concerned, sucking on a reindeer nose on a party. Cool chick. And you don't have any bitterness towards this establishment?
No.
You're just still like, oh, they're still good. Even if they took a thing that shouldn't have been a thing against me. They're still good people.
That is fucking
the system
gross.
Works.
And I don't want, and I won't let people forget it. Over to Steph.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right. That's not the real reason Kay Hunt, just using her real name, cut her off. Kay Hunt cut her off because she was telling people to do their own research. Vianticus Prime.
Oh, nice.
Hostile boogeyman. Shapiro said that his wife's nether regions are not supposed to be wet. Too bad he didn't mention that to his sister Abby. Hostile.
Okay,
back to Jimmy.
So
he's our.
Need me to go, man?
Hi, what are you doing?
Chilling, man.
Are you homeless?
Yeah, I stayed here to get out of the rain last night.
Enjoy your time, buddy.
All right, thank you. Need me to
dreams make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running this system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us
accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it, then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just move babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit